Right, good afternoon guys. You remember this thing? Well, this used to be on the wall. If you didn't know, this is the battery that I made, which was actually over here. That was the start of the whole project, and kind of look where it's ended up. So this is what happens when I start these things. But basically what I've done with this, rather than just kind of put it to one side and not use it, I've actually kind of connected it to this inverter, so I can actually use this as like a power backpack. And one of the things that I use it for is my strimmer. So I basically have this in a backpack and then plug in my mains operated strimmer, and then we can strim the garden without having wires hanging around and all extension leads and all that kind of rubbish. That was the plan today anyway, to do some strimming with this, but unfortunately my strimmer wire, the little bit of cutting wire, was actually broken, so I don't know if I've actually got any spares. I need to have a look at that first. Anyway, I'm continuing to charge the bike. I didn't finish the charge the other day, so we've got 76 amps going out of this lot at the moment, which is pretty interesting. Nothing's getting warm. It all seems to be kind of okay. The wires on this are just super fat, like 40mm squared wires, so there shouldn't be an issue with that. And this has got 620 watts going in, and we've got 276 coming from the sun, which is fantastic. Anyway, now to carry on the whole thing, I'm going to stick this in my mower and give my front lawn a mow. E-bike riders all made possible by them. So yeah guys, this is what I'm using at the moment on the e-bike. Just 4 of these, 4 6 amp hours, so 2 of them in parallel, 2 of them in series, gives you 74 volts, 12 amp hour. And yeah, granted you have to turn the power down a little bit, but running on these, absolutely no problem at all for just a little rip. So it's the next day guys. Originally I was going to start this video with me strimming using this battery here, but I had a problem with the strimmer. I didn't have any of the, you know, the strimming wire stuff. But I've got some more now, so I'm going to show you this. Right, here's the setup. Here's the backpack. That will be going inside that backpack, but I want to show you what happens with this when you plug it into the strimmer, which I've got here. So just a normal mains powered, boring, pretty cheap actually. It wasn't actually that expensive at all, this strimmer. Much more cheaper than the battery powered ones. So in here, to remind you, we've got a 4S 9P, I think it is, 18650 pack. This is what I built before. Might be a little bit overkill having this battery meter on the front of it, but it was originally made as like a backup power supply for the house. So if we come over to here to the strimmer, I can't remember the power output of this strimmer, I'd probably say, if you look at the side of it. So yeah, it's a 280 watt strimmer, perfect for this battery and this inverter. So it goes up to about 20 amps, 25 amps there. And if we have a look at the wattage, that's about what it says it is. But obviously under load it's going to be a bit higher. What can I use as a load? I've cut most of this grass yesterday, but this bit of grass will be alright. Doesn't look like it's going much above 300 watts, so that's alright. Literally half an amp hour just to do that, so it's not even really that bad. I'm going to stick it in this backpack now. So total taking out the batteries, 2.5 amp hours, which isn't really bad. See, a lot of these things around the house, they don't really actually take that much power. But I'm happy with this little setup because it means I can just run stuff that, you know, otherwise would need a long extension lead. I can just whack that in. It's probably good for about 600 or 700 watts. I wouldn't go past that on this particular battery, but yeah, it worked. It's in time for the coffee as well. Well, my coffee got cold, so I just thought I'd just do a little bit of water. And all courtesy of power brought in by the solar panels this morning. Right, you remember I was having trouble with the lawnmower. I was saying that the battery was not holding up and it was overheating and everything else. So just to recap, I called the guys up who I bought the mower from, Mower Magic. What are you doing? Yeah, and they basically said they would try and get Greenworks to send another battery and probably just exchange it over. But what's just turned up on the doorstep now is another battery and they haven't collected the old one. So it means I've got two now, which one may not be working as well as the other, but let's just see. If it turns out that's the case, I might just rip the one that doesn't work so well apart and just have a little tinker with it. Right, so I charged the other battery up. I haven't had a chance to sort it out yet. It's the next day, by the way. Same clothes, different day. I'm going to show you a couple of things which I'm going to do, which I'm going to get to eventually. So this is like a commando plug. It's basically like a 3-pin plug like that you see on caravans, one of these things. And I've also got, this was salvaged from one of my other projects, but basically the other end to that, so the plug end that fits into that socket. And I've got a switch here as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But basically what I'm going to do, because this is kind of like an off-grid shed, most of the time it's off-grid. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to put this socket up here somewhere. I'm going to wire it into one of these panels and have it somewhere around here, I don't know. And then make a lead that actually goes from this down to this inverter. So effectively this lead is going to have a 3-pin plug on one end, and then it's actually going to have the safe end on the other end. So then that will enable me to plug in the inverter into the mains, obviously when the mains is turned off. So I'll be able to turn off all the power to the house and then effectively back feed in power from this this little inverter. Now, this little inverter is only like a 1000 watt inverter. It says 800 watts, but it can sort of do a little bit more. So it's not a very powerful one, but it's going to be enough to power like the lights. All my lights are LEDs in the house. So when there's a power outage, which kind of happens, I don't know, it's not so frequent now. It was when we first moved here. There'll be like, you know, half an hour of power cut or something like that, then it'll come back on. What it will enable me to do is just obviously just carry on really, just run the TVs, run the computers, and fridge. You know, that's all going to be doable under sort of, you know, the 800 watt, around the 800 watt mark. And this setup, if it's in the daytime, even better because you've got the power from the panels. But most of the time, you know, running here, 800 watts out of these batteries continuously, no problem at all. But before I get onto that stuff, I've got to do some work. I fitted that extra battery to the boosted board, didn't I? And I haven't actually given it a proper test yet. So I'm going to take some stuff to the post box. Some crazy storm coming by the looks of things. I haven't rigged my off-grid power feed back into the house up yet either, so hopefully there won't be a power cut. I'll be annoyed because I want to try that. So guys, I've been sent this foldable space-saving international USB charger. Interesting. Here's the leaflet that came with it. So basically it's like a fold flat charger, like a USB charger. Powerful 2400 milliamp, so 2.4 amps, that's pretty good. Let's open it up then. And just realised that bit opens up. Right, so that's the charger, take it. And these are the Euro and US adapter as well. After a couple of minutes working out how to actually get this thing round, you have to push that and then that thing folds round. And that gives you your UK plug. And you can actually take this off, this top bit, if I can't really do it with one hand. So that is the charger, which is pretty small. And then you've got the different attachments for the different countries, Euro, and then the US one. So I do like this because I've always thought, you know, if you're ever in the States and you see like the Apple chargers they have there, they're like literally tiny with just 2 pins sticking out. But we've got this crazy 3-pin system, so it just makes it annoying when you're trying to put it in the bag and stuff. So I get where they're coming from on this. Also, I think I saw that it's got like a BS certification or something like that. There you go. And it's a UK company as well, so you get all the certifications. But like unlike some of these Chinese power supplies which can be a bit dodgy. Yeah, I like it. Thanks for that thin plug, I'll be checking that out. I've got a trip to Euroland coming up as well, so I'm going to need that one. Next day now, guys. I was going to ask you, what do you think of these kind of long, extended vlogs? Oh, right, son. Yeah, they're kind of turning into like weekly vlogs, aren't they? So, yeah, what do you reckon, guys? Anyway, I'm trying to film every day so I keep up momentum and I can sort of show more stuff rather than doing like a full video every day, which is just like, which is crazy when you've actually got other stuff you're doing as well. Yeah, but let me know. Anyway, it's that time again where I need to get a haircut. Park anywhere in that thing. So I got sorted the haircut out. What do you reckon? A bit shorter than it was. Yeah, I had to go to a different one because the one I normally go to was shut for lunch. I feel like it's not quite warm enough for a t-shirt, but I'm still doing it. So this is the damage. He's got his knee operations there, and then he's got a little bit of shaved bit up there. Poor little chap. The verge. Morning, guys. It is Friday. I like Fridays, even though I kind of work for myself and I kind of every day seems a little bit the same. So this morning our car valet turned up. Bit lazy, I know, but I normally ask him if he needs power, and this morning I didn't ask him if he wanted to plug his stuff in, but this morning he didn't, and I noticed he brought his own generator, like a little generator just to run his Karcher and his Hoover. And I just thought how cool it would be to make like a really cool van setup with like all the Victron gear, and you know, you probably wouldn't even need like lithium batteries in there. You could run it off the alternator and stuff like that. But how good it would be if you could run, you know, a really high power inverter and have it all nicely set up in a van. I don't know, it's just the way my mind works, guys. But yeah, the generator being noisy, and I wonder how much it actually costs to sort of fill that with fuel like over a year. Maybe just a multi plus in the van, it probably would pay for itself, like probably like in 3 years or something. This hair though, guys, I think it's a little bit short. Right, guys, let's talk about the bike for a minute. I've been watching Tony Vortex channel. Check him out. I'll put the link in the description. He has been we've been talking a little bit in the background by email. Fantastic guy, but what he's done, I can't believe how many views he's got on some of his e-bike videos. Well, I can, because they're brilliant videos. And the latest thing that he's done with the bike is awesome. So go and check it out. And he was saying, oh, you know, you've helped me, you've inspired me to do things. But I think now watching his videos, it's inspiring me to sort of do more stuff with my bike. So you remember I was having trouble with my e-bike battery. Basically, we found out that I think I was just pulling too much current from it, and I've just basically knackered it completely, which is not good. I was pulling about 200 amps from it, and they're Samsung 18650 30Q cells. Is that right? Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it was only 200 amps at peak, but I was pretty surprised that basically half the cells have gone down. So that's a bit annoying, to say the least, really. But we're trying to work out what we're going to do going forward with the bike for like a long-term battery. But for now, this is what I've been using, and it's actually working out quite nicely. So these are the 36 volt, 6 amp hour Bosch batteries, like power tool batteries, pretty high power ones. I've done another video about these, but what I'm using is 4 of these, so 2 in parallel, 2 in series, to give you 74 volts and 12 amp hours. Think about it for a second then. And that actually is quite fine. I mean, you can't pull more than about 4 kilowatts from these. I think it's probably maybe not even that. But remember, I also had some problems with my Adapto controller, my Max E. This is the MIDI E on here at the moment. The Max E I've got is actually in the box. It came back from being repaired, so I've got to stick that back on. But actually, you've seen what's been happening in the videos. Like, this bike still does 40 miles an hour, and it accelerates pretty nicely. But you've got to bear in mind, you can't be pulling, you know, more than about 50 amps or something like that with absolute peak with these batteries. Otherwise, I'll probably just do the same with these. At least with these though, they've got a warranty. Now, what's interesting about these packs, I was talking to an expert about this, and he was saying that the cells in these packs will be very, very closely matched because of the amount of cells that Bosch buy and the supply that they use. Can't remember the name of it. Because of the massive amount of cells that they have, they're all very, very closely matched. So what you have in a pack like this This is what he was telling me. I don't know exactly how true it is, but I'll tell you why I think it's true in a second. It means in here you're going to end up with lots of cells that are very, very closely matched. So they're not going to go out of balance very, very quickly under normal use. And what I can say is running these packs at their limit, where they're getting warm, not hot, but running them at their kind of, normal limits. All of these packs are within literally, well, they're identical voltages. They never go out. I'm talking about pack voltages here, but I need to test the individual cells to see. But each pack is in exactly the same voltage. And when you take them off the charger, they drop, and they all drop at the same rate. But they're all reading identical voltages, which is pretty interesting. But by my reckoning, I reckon if you're using packs like this, you're going to be less inclined to have any problem going forward. So long as you don't get stupid with it and just start, really, really abusing them, I think these will last. I've had a look on forums and things like that, and people have been saying, yeah, they've been using these for using packs like this for 3 years, and they've been absolutely fine. So one thing I want to know, there's a board in here, a little PCB, and it's got some pretty hefty looking components on it. It looks like a balancing circuit, like an active balancing circuit, so I don't know if the reason why they are all identical voltages when they come off the charger and they're laid to rest for a bit, is that circuit inside actually doing some kind of balancing after that. Anybody knows, it's driving me nuts. I really want to know what the situation is with this. There's another pin here in the middle. Some people say that's for temperature. But what's interesting about these batteries, if you charge these through the main lead, so if you charge them there, there's no activity at all on this kind of like battery meter on the front. There's no activity there at all. But if you charge them on the official charger, basically those ones there, then what happens, as it's charging, this light goes 1, 2, and it shows you in real time, what its state of charge is. But it does this kind of pulsing light, and there's no way you can get it to do that if you just charge through these main wires or these main terminals. So what is happening in here, I really, really want to know, without dissecting this thing completely and reverse engineering it. Has anybody else had any experience with this? It'd be really interesting to know. So challenge for you guys. Also today we're fitting a charge point for the Twizy. Well, it's actually just like a normal main socket, but yeah, that's going to happen, so that's good. It means I won't have to run my extension lead. Right guys, here we go. So we've got a charge point, or just a normal double plug there. Makes it a lot better. So I'm not using that extension lead anymore. What I've noticed with this is it's actually been on charge for hours and the fan is still running on the charger, so I'm not really sure why that is. Let's try and see if we can get into some information. That would be the reason. I left the key in here. Right, just checking the cell voltages. Grey old day today, really grey. We got in on the panels, so we only got in about 500, or exactly 500 watt hours on there, so not good, and it feels cold. So I've actually turned this heater on, so I thought I'd give the system a little stretch. So we've got 600 odd watts going out at the moment, and that is going straight into that heater there. That's a 500 watt heater, so the rest of it is coming from the other stuff in the shed. So if I turn that off, you should see it probably start to drop down a bit. Basically use my power generator today to just make it a little bit warmer in here. You know what's weird, guys, is how weird I look. I'm just looking in the mirror, how weird I look when I haven't got long hair and I wear a hat. I just look really strange. Anyway guys, it's Monday. Weekend was pretty good. Bit of a chill one though, really. Not a lot really happened. We just it was rubbish weather as well, so we were a little bit kind of like, just stay in and just not really do a lot. But the weather's supposed to improve, I think, tomorrow. Anyway, I just popped in here. I've got to do something to this bike. I'll explain more about this later, but I've basically ripped it all apart, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. But first of all, I need this because it's flipping cold outside, and yeah, I need to nip out in the Twizy. So I'm going to try this heater in a little bit kind of more moderate cold. It's not freezing cold, but it feels cold. But yeah, this is all charged up. If you haven't seen this before, this is a heater, but basically there's another video about that, so go check that out. But yeah, Yeah, just keeps my feet warm while I'm in the Twizy. So it just goes under here. Yeah, that's it, all in there. I don't know guys, I've got a perfectly good Range Rover there with heated seats and everything. And I'd rather just drive this. It's really blooming windy today. I can feel it, especially when you've got the windows on. Heater's working quite nicely, it's just keeping my feet warm. I think for next winter what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig it up to the actual main battery, but only use it when the car's actually turned on, because you actually get like I think it's probably around a 20 amp charge current going in from the DC to DC converter. So I reckon that'll work quite well. The only thing is it doesn't really kick out a lot of air on 12 volts. You have to get it up to, at the moment it's running on like 20 volts or something just to get the volume of air movement out, so yeah, it might not be enough. That heater is still going. It's been about, I don't know, 20 minutes, something like that, over 20 minutes of that running. So convenient having this charging thing. Silly cat hasn't learnt her lesson. I don't know if you can see her there. I've blocked this hole over here, but now she's worked out she can go all the way around. I'm going to try this thing, see if I can get her to come back. Silly cat. Solar lights are still holding up well, guys. Right, so I was going to show you what I was doing with this. So basically, sorry about the fan by the way, it's just flipping freezing in there, so I've just got that on. So the story goes like this. I had a failure of my speed controller, which was the Max-E. That's the Max-E there. It's gone away to Adapto and come back. Meanwhile, I was using a MIDI E, which I have, which is down there. And that was underneath here, and I mounted it outside. And I didn't like it outside because of the water situation. Water always spraying up, and you can't wash the bike properly. It's actually better outside for cooling purposes, obviously, because the air's blowing on it. But I don't really know how much better, because it was still getting hot. So after tuning the motor, doing like countless calibrations, I managed to get it working, and it's kind of fine. Obviously, you see from the other video that it was going pretty quick. It was like 40 mile an hour, no problem. But it heated up, still heated up too quick, much quicker than the Max-E. So I'm going back to the Max-E, which originally was installed inside the bike. It wasn't there, but it was actually up the top here, I think. Oh no, it might have been, I think it was down this sort of angle, and then I had this fan blowing on it. Again, fan probably doesn't really do a lot, but it's there. And then obviously I have my old battery there. But anyway, so the plan is to, I'm not going to do it tonight because it's just getting late now, but the plan is to just install this properly into here. I've got some nice adhesive double-sided tape which I'm going to use to just stick that down good and proper on that bottom bit there. And then under here, it's a bit of a mess under here because I made some holes for the wires to go through. So I'm going to cover this up with probably some carbon film or something like that. I need to redo some of this. This wire's a bit thin, but basically I just want to get this ready now for the summer. But I've been looking at some other bikes as well, which I just started going off on tangents. I'd really like to try something with like a mid-drive. I'm not going to do it to this bike. This bike has just been through so many different experiments now. But I'd really like to try like a motor drive with a chain going directly to the back, because it's the torque. It's just the torque you can get from that, which you just can't get. Well, the thing is, you can get it from a hub motor, but you've got to pump in serious current. Which is what I've been doing with this. I mean, you know, if you run 300 amps of phase current through one of these, then nothing's going to touch it. It'll go up any gradient, it'll pull the front wheel up, like it's enough power. But you've got to put in a lot of power to actually do that. And I think with the gearing side of things, having a motor with a chain and sprocket conventional drive, I mean, they've been around for years, they work. And that does give you a lot of torque. Anyway, so that's where we're at. Right old mess. But we're going to get that sorted out. And then I'm not sure, I might use another 2 of these. If I can grab another couple of these, I might do that. Then that will actually give me like a 6 parallel pack. So it'd be like 20S 6P. So that'd be like 18 amp hours 20S, which is getting there. nearly back to where we were before. But other than that, she's holding up well. Everything's kind of nice. It looks like a mess at the moment, but we'll get it sorted out. Right, it's getting blooming hot in here now. I'm going to turn that off. This thing is so effective. But yeah, it pulls some serious power as well. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for the support on the channel so far. Everything is really awesome. Like, it's just going from strength to strength. Really enjoying what's happening with it, and it's just like, yeah, it's just so good. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Hit that like button. Also turn that notification thing on as well, because otherwise, if you don't click on the bell icon or whatever it is, you don't get notified of a new video, which is just a bit stupid. But anyway, do that, and then you'll always see a new video, and you'll see my mug pop up to more shenanigans. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next video.